What's going on, GT gang? It's your boy GT Josh, and we're back again with another video, man. And today we're going to be talking about and reacting to the full race of the Budapest Continental Tour Gold meet that happened with Kishane Thompson and the rest of the field that we'll go through. And we're going to talk about sort of how the race went, everybody's expectations, and sort of what everybody's been saying and what everyone's been thinking. And we're going to dissect it piece by piece, guys. So we're going to go through quite a lot today. But first of all, before I even indulge in all of that, I just want to say a massive thank you to everybody that subscribed to the channel yesterday. I had literally no followers yesterday, and now I've got quite a few followers off the back of the videos that I posted yesterday. Unfortunately, those videos did get sort of copyright infringed, and they did get taken down, and it's something that I'm still learning and trying to understand about licensing and copyright and the things I can post and the things I can't. But for the meantime, guys, I'm super happy that you came and you joined me on my channel, and I'm super happy that you guys sort of share the same type of passion as I do in track and field, and specifically the men's sprints and the men's hundreds. We are going to be reacting to sort of women's sprints and other events later on down the line, but for now we are going to be talking about the sort of state of the men's 100 meters at the minute, because there is a lot that is going on. There's a lot to unpack as well, guys. So we're going to go through it together, guys. Don't forget to like, comment and subscribe onto this channel. As you know, we're here to talk about the men's 100 meters yesterday. We had Rowan Watson, we had Akeem Blake, we had Akani Simbini, we had Kishane Thompson, of course, we had Ferdinand Omanyala, we had the Ghanaian sprinter, who's recently run 9:84, and we also had Kadrian Goldson as well from Jamaica, guys. So everybody already knows by now that Kishane Thompson ran 9:95 and he won the race, and I think everyone was quite surprised that the time wasn't faster than what it was. And I think that it's because obviously Kishane's been dominating this season. Kishane's been running some world-class times that haven't been run in almost a decade, since the sort of Bolt era, if you like. And whenever Kishane steps onto the track, I think everyone has a huge expectation that he's to run, super fast times. And I think what we're kind of seeing right now with Kishane is that he is human, and he does sort of have the same sort of symptoms that every other sprinter sort of faces throughout their career. Yesterday marked almost 8 weeks from when Kishane Thompson last competed in Eugene, Oregon. He competed on July 5th, and yesterday was August 12th, almost 8 weeks from when he last competed. So in that 8-week period, a lot of things can happen, and I don't think that a lot of people understand that, and I don't think a lot of people are considering what goes on in that 8-week period. Now, I'm also a sprints coach, but I'm also a former athlete myself, so I understand what goes on behind the scenes where a lot of people might not know what goes on. So the most obvious thing that I think a lot of people know about is that people do, suffer with little niggles here and there. So that's something that has to be managed. Whether you pick up a little strain or a little soreness or a bit of tightness somewhere, which sets you back from training, and also sets you back from sort of optimizing your training block. But another thing that you have to understand, even when we're talking about sort of niggles and injuries and stuff, guys, is that Kishane Thompson is a highly powerful and a high performance individual. He is, you don't get a more pristine engine than what Kishane Thompson has. So when you're talking about, if you're talking about supercars, Kishane Thompson is a supercar in track and field. He is, the Koenigsegg or the Bugatti in track and field. And with those type of cars, if you was to have one of those supercars, you don't put that car out on the track every single day. You have to take care of it. Yes, you have to drive it, and yes, you have to push it to its limit, because that's what it's made for, but you've got to really manage that that car. You got to really manage that body. You really got to wrap him up in cotton wool. Yeah, you don't just race him here, race him there, training. Because guys, you got to understand that, you know, with a high performance individual like him, he only has one body, and that body has to train as well as compete. So you're talking about the fastest man in the world right now having to also train that body and maintain that body and manage that body, and also take that same body out onto the track and perform at its optimal level. That takes a huge amount of skill, and we have to give credit to his coaches, to his coaching staff, and his medical team that keeps his body in one piece, and that also, you know, allows him to come out and give us great world-class performances, guys. Because even running 995, although it's not 97 or 96, 995 is not something that the average human being, and even the above average human being, can run. People can't just run those types of times, guys. So him even going out there and running those, you know, that sub 10 seconds is a big thing. And another thing that I'm even thinking about when I'm talking about this is that, you know, the fact that Kishane Thompson is fairly new to this game, to this sport, and the fact that he's running sub 10 every single time he steps out is a credit to his talent and a credit to his skill and his ability to perform. Because there's a lot of guys who are super talented and who are on Kishane's level right now, that when they go out and, you know, when they step out and go and run, they're not running sub 10. You know, Noah Lyles, you know, doesn't run sub 10 every single time he races. Even when he runs in April, even at early times, you know, Noah's vulnerable early times in the season, as most athletes are. But the fact that you'll see Noah Lyles, who's also one of the fastest men in the world and the fastest man in the 200, you know, he goes out there and he'll run 10-0. He'll go out there and he'll run, you know, there's been times when he's opened up in Claremont and he's run 10-1. So the fact that Kishane opens up his season and he's straight under 10 seconds, guys, credit where credit's due. So the thing is, I feel like, guys, we obviously rate Kishane highly. Yeah, we give him a lot of, I think we have more expectation of Kishane than give him credit. And I think we have to really understand that he's really blessing us with great performances, with great moments in track and field. Track and field was great when Noah, you know, as Noah Lyles has been doing his thing, but now we've got another protagonist in Kishane Thompson. He's not only just a protagonist, this guy is set to really take track and field to the next level. You know, he's not a Noah Lyles character, he's not a Usain Bolt character, but he's a superstar in his own right. He's a superstar in the sense that there is a type of person that really appreciates a quiet, unassuming type of individual like Kishane Thompson. And we have to give him credit for that, and we also have to give him credit again for his performances that he's putting down. Now, here's one thing I will say as well. Kishane is also very inexperienced. He doesn't have much experience. It was only the other day that the guy burst onto the scene, going to the Jamaican Championships, running 9.9 in the first round, and then going home. We didn't see him after that. And then we see him later on in a Diamond League here and a Diamond League there, running 9.8s, coming top 3. It was just the other day. And then the guy goes to the Paris Olympic Games, his first ever, and by the way, that season he won last year, 2024, he won the Jamaican Championships in 9.76 or 9.77. And then he goes to the Olympic Games. His first ever championships is the Olympic Games. And he goes and gets a silver medal, but he's not battered or anything like that. He runs the same time as a guy like Noah Lyles that's been competing for many seasons. This guy turned pro straight out of high school in Noah Lyles. So he's got experience. And Kishane steps on the line and he gives the best that anyone could give. And he goes and runs 9.79. He still doesn't have experience. So when people are saying, oh, Kishane, he's not going to win because he doesn't have any experience or anything like that. Although, yes, he didn't win, he proved a lot of doubters wrong. You know, he had no business really going to that Olympic Games last year and doing what he did. He really didn't. Just because you run fast times, it doesn't mean that you are going to go ahead and run, and win medals. It doesn't mean that. We've seen that in the past with so many athletes. Asafa Powell is one who gets, you know, his name gets dragged up a lot. And sorry, Asafa, if you see this video, but you are a classic individual who has run super fast time, world leads, world records, but you haven't performed on the day. And I think that we have to give Kishane credit for that. And I think a lot of us do. But we still have to remember this guy is still very inexperienced. He doesn't have much experience. And he showed a bit of that yesterday. And this is what I mean by that. When you watch this race back and you pay close attention to what Kishane's doing during the run, part of him is fighting. And you can see that in his facial expressions. His teeth are clenched quite tight and he's really trying to force the run. Yesterday, the inexperience really did show because he was looking for the time. He was looking to run the fast time, and it was so obvious. It might not be obvious to you guys because when you've competed as an athlete before, everything's about time. We know that. And everybody wants to run the super fast times, guys. But there comes a time whereby execution has to become your best friend. When you execute well, the time usually reflects that. Now, part of the race was executed very well. If you go back and watch the race, if you go back and watch Ferdinand Omanyala to his left, to Kishane's left, Ferdinand got out. He got a great start against Kishane Thompson. So it seemed. But he rushed it. And Ferdinand popped his head up because he saw that he was ahead of Kishane. And then he really started to sort of, you know, Ferdinand probably thought that, oh, you know, I've got the jump on Kishane, off I go. If you watch Kishane kept his head down and went through his checks and balances, yeah, to complete his drive phase, complete his acceleration, and then he got to his running. If Kishane didn't fight, Kishane still would have ran 9.95. I really do believe that, guys. If he didn't fight himself, he still would have ran that 9.95, but it would have been a way better executed and smooth run. Now remember what I said at the beginning of this episode, guys. He hasn't ran for 8 weeks. Athletes, coaches, you will understand when I use the term cobwebs. When you haven't ran for that long, I'm talking about high intensity volume, and the highest high intensity. The highest intensity that you can get as a sprinter is racing. You can't simulate racing in training or anywhere else other than in the race. So you can imagine that because he's been training, and maybe he had some niggles here and there, we don't know, right? Because nothing's come out about it. Those cobwebs would have built up. So he would have trained lots, been doing his gym work. And remember, he's still preparing for the World Championships in September. Cobwebs would have built up. You're not going to be as sharp as you was when you've got 3 races sort of in your legs. He went straight from Jamaica, from running a 9.75 straight to Eugene. Bang, he went and ran 9.8. Yeah, that's when you're super sharp. Because remember, he did that in 1 round. But there's another point to this, guys. There's another point to this. And the other point is this. What would have happened if he would have had 2 rounds? What would have happened if he would have had 2 rounds? Maybe the 9.95 would have been that with the cobwebs out the way. And then the second round, maybe we would have seen a 9.8. Maybe. But 9-8 is still not 9-7. Right? So what I'm saying to you is that if he was to have a second round and run a faster time like 9-8, after being out for 8 weeks, that's telling me that he's in dangerous shape. He's in dangerous shape, guys. Which brings me to my next point. This Saturday, August 16th, we've probably got the best starting lineup since the Olympic Games in 2024. Let me read to you who's in the lineup. And you might have seen this already, you might not. And this is not in lane order, guys. This is just, in any order. This is taken from the Diamond League website. Kenny Bednarek, he's there. He's got a season's best of 9.79. Akeem Blake, he's got a season's best of 9.88 seconds that he got at the Jamaican Champs. Trayvon Bromell, he's got a season's best of 9.84 that he ran in his first race of the season in Rome. Trayvon Bromell was also subsequently in that race in Eugene, and Kishane just walked him down. Christian Coleman is also in the race. Obviously, we know Christian's having a bit of a tough time right now this season. I was having a conversation about Christian Coleman as well the other day, and someone was saying to me that actually Coleman's not having a terrible season. He peaked right, and he got it right on the day. Okay, maybe in terms of time, and in terms of times, you didn't make the team, bro. You came fourth, and you ran a time that you was able to run in a qualifying round in college. I don't think you're having a great season, Christian. I'm not gonna lie to you. Then we've got Courtney Lindsay, who's got a season's best of 9.82. He qualified second behind Kenny Bednarek at the US Champs. Noah Lyles is obviously there. Noah Lyles' season's best, I think, is... Let's have a look. Noah Lyles' season's best is 10 flat. So, but he ran that 10 flat before he ran the 200. So his season's best in 200 is now 1963. That means something for someone like Noah Lyles. Noah Lyles he's an elastic-based athlete. Elastic-based athletes are people who get faster as they go along. That's why he's a better 200-meter man. But what that also means is that the more races they have, the faster they get. A concentric type of sprinter usually can run fast straight away, and they usually get out the blocks fast. So a concentric-based athlete, their season kind of mimics their race pattern as well. Same with an elastic-based sprinter. So Noah Lyles is a wind-up sprinter. He gets faster as he goes along. So does his season. Akani Simbini is also in the race, but I'm not really seeing Akani Simbini as a threat now. I was at the beginning of the season, but I feel like Akani's at his limit now, and I don't think there's going to be much more coming from him, unfortunately. Sorry, Akani. And then obviously we've got Kishane Thompson as well, whose season best is 9.75. Now, the main protagonist in this race, is going to be obviously Kenny Bednarek, Noah Lyles, Kishane Thompson. Those are the three main protagonists. People are expecting to see a 1, 2, 3 from them lot. But, and if everything goes to what we think, these guys can do, it's probably gonna go like that. It's probably gonna go Kishane first, followed by Kenny, followed by Noah, right? Now, this lineup is banging. This is a banging lineup. Well done, Poland, Celestia, for putting this together, because this lineup is a madness. I'm not gonna lie to you. I'm gonna be honest. This lineup is an absolute madness. And they must be paying the bag to have these men there. Paying the bag. The appearance fees must be madness. With Trayvon in there as well. I don't think Trayvon's gonna do anything. So we've got our three main protagonists, Kenny, Kishane, and Noah. But then there's guys who are sort of on the cusp. And let me just say this as well, No disrespect, guys. None of these guys are lane fillers. Not gonna lie to you. Maybe the Polish brother, because your season's best is 10-1. You're not on these lots level. I'm not gonna lie to you. But out of the other guys, none of these men are lane fillers. You cannot call, and even if Christian's not having a great season, he's not a lane filler. Trayvon Bromell, he's not a lane filler. My man is a world champion in his own right. My man Trayvon won the world indoors. Then he's been injured, he's had his injury issues and stuff. And my man comes back with a 984. Like, he's not a joke, man, for real. Christian's a slippery slope because he's come fresh off a 986. Does that mean that he's got it together now? Doesn't mean that. Because if he has got it together, then he's going to be a problem. Because his start, when he gets it right, as we know, nobody's catching Coleman, innit? No one can do what he can do. That's why he's the 60 meter world record holder. Yeah. Courtney Lindsay. Courtney is starting to show promise. The promise that he showed in college, he's starting to show his class now. And I think Courtney is someone to watch out for. Courtney, he's a quiet sort of, he's a bit of a silent assassin. Like, if you're not careful, he's gonna slide on you. Like, he's gonna duck you down, and you're just gonna be like, where did that come from? Like, Courtney's someone to watch out for. For me, another dark horse is Akeem Blake. But I feel like, you see Akeem, I don't know if Akeem knows how good he is yet. I don't like, Akeem strikes me as a bit of a, he's part of the carousel, going around from this meet to that meet. He reminds me of like a Nesta Carter and a Michael Frater type of guy. Yeah, that's kind of where he's going. But Akeem needs to understand, Akeem, you are a bad boy sprinter. You are sick. 988 season's best, and no disrespect. He's a little man. He's not a big unit, you know. He's a small. There's not much to him. He's a small guy, yeah. And the fact that you can still duck down and you can run 988, you are a bad boy. You are good. You are really, really good. So take this thing seriously, Akeem, and don't turn up to just get paid and just to run a no, like, actually, like, bro, you can do something for real. Like, I can't see why Akeem Blake can't beat Akani Simbini. Why Akeem Blake can't test Courtney Lindsay and all of them. I don't see why you can't do that. You can do that. So you gotta rate yourself and you gotta like put yourself in the runnings. So the next thing that I want to talk about a little bit is that these type of lineups scare me. Because yes, it's great for the fans. It's amazing for the fans, but is it good for the athletes, and is it good for the athletes' seasons? Because we are about 32 or so days away from the World Championships. And I know that these guys are professionals and their coaches are professionals. Coaches know what they're doing. But you lot are human beings. You lot are human beings. And if you get the peaking slightly wrong, well, what's happened to athletes in the past is that when they go to the championships, there's nothing left. They're struggling. They're literally struggling. And I think when you put like high profile races like this together, I think it takes people are not understanding, it takes a lot out of the athlete. Because these lot are not just going there as a warm-up race. They're going there to compete and run fast times and have their status grown. I'm the fastest man in the world, innit? Like, you lot aren't ready for me. But in order for that to happen, you've got to be putting down some serious times. Whoever wins this race is going to have to go sub 985. And you keep running sub 985, you know, week in, week out. I don't know how good that is for the nervous system. Because I've heard people say that they run sub 10 as a new personal best and they are cooked for weeks. They're finished. But obviously these are professionals and their medical team take care of them and their their recovery is on point. So that's why I guess, you know, it's okay for them. But back in the day, when people like Gatlin was at his peak and stuff, when Gatlin was at his peak, Tyson Gay was not at his peak. So when Gatlin would be running and Tyson Gay's in the race, Tyson Gay would be just a good person to beat in the race for Gatlin to run a fast time. And then there'd be Mike Rogers in there. You know, you might find someone like Dentarius Locke in there as well. These were fast guys, but they weren't these lot fast. You know, Kenny Bednarek, at the moment, he stands tall in any era. Noah Lyles, we already know what he comes with. Kishane Thompson, he's number 5, I think, all time in the 100. Like, then you've got Coleman. Coleman just ran, he's fresh off a 9.86. He's going to be recovered, ready to go. He's a world record holder in the 60 meters. His PR is 9.76 seconds. Like, Trayvon Bromell, his PB is his PR is also 9.76. So, and his season's best is 9.84. Like, you're putting man together. This is a pressure cooker. And then they're going to do it again in Lausanne. And then they're going to do it again for the World Championships. Like, this is so exciting for the fans. And I guess it's what the sport needs. But the question that I have is it ideal for the athletes? You know, like, it's kind of like in boxing, an analogy I can give you like this is like this. In boxing, some of the best fighters in the world will stay away from each other for a little while. They'll stay away from each other for a little while until someone puts up enough money, like a lot of bread. Turkey Al Sheikh will put in millions, yeah? And then they'll put their championship belts on the line. Now I'm ready to go against you. So they haven't taken much damage. They haven't been through much wars. And some people will be like, no, we need to have, you know, wars. But is that good for the athlete? That's the question that I, you know, leave a comment down below, you know. I personally think that this is good, but I think sparingly, like, Kishane's just ran on Tuesday, the 12th, 9.95, lovely. Blew the cobwebs out of his legs. Now he recovers, he should recover, and then he should be ready to go again on Saturday. That's a lot of time to recover. And he should go out there and run a super fast time. Then I think you should chill out a bit. Still race, but maybe the profile of the race shouldn't be as high. Because is that good for you? And the other thing is that if you don't win, psychologically, what does that do to you? What does that do to the athletes? If Kishane, he beats Noah this weekend, beats him again in Lausanne and wherever else, then they go to the World Championship, we can pretty much hang the medal around Kishane's neck. And also, from a psychological perspective, when you've beaten a couple man, you know, a couple times, then you know, I know I can beat this guy. I do this all the time. For example, Kishane Thompson beats Oblique Seville every time they race. Oblique Seville he's a superman. That guy is so fast. Look what Oblique Seville did to Noah Lyles in London. He absolutely destroyed him. And if I'm not mistaken, did he not run a faster time than Kishane did in Eugene? I think he did. I think you'll find he did. But when Oblique Seville comes up against Kishane Thompson, something psychological happens where Kishane's like, I'm going to move to you because I do this. So it doesn't matter what happens, I'm going to beat you. And Oblique Seville kind of, I feel like he kind of like real recognizes real, innit? So Oblique recognizes Kishane as that's the man, innit? You feel me? Because they've raced so many times. And I think that's also something that's gonna happen if these lot start racing. Kind of like with Bolt. Everyone knew that you're not gonna beat Bolt. So that man are on the line, just happy to be at the occasion. The only person who was on the start line saying, no, I'm gonna beat this guy is Gatlin. And him and Gatlin didn't race bare times. They didn't race loads of times. So whenever they did race, it was the adrenaline goes up through the roof. Gatlin's on the start line, pacing up and down. Bolt is doing what he does, but deep down he knows, right, I have to be on my A game because Gatlin is not a joke, man. But with these lot, if we make these lineups, these matchups happen too often, I think we're gonna have the gold medalist before the championships even arrives. I'm happy that rumor has it that Kenny has pulled out of Lausanne, so that would be good because apparently Kishane's supposed to be doing Lausanne. I think, I believe he is, and Noah Lyles is doing Lausanne. So Noah and Kishane, I think they know each other by now. But I don't think this is good that you make Noah race Kishane too much, because it's only a matter of time when Noah clicks into gear. Unless Kishane's ready to go sub 975, Noah could run you down. So I think we need to be careful with how we're structuring these races. It's great for the sport, I understand that. It's great for the profiles, it's great for the money and all that. But let's have it right. You want to be the world champion, so you've got to play chess with this. The last thing that I'm going to put out, that I'm going to say as well about all of this, is that traveling takes a lot out of these guys. We saw it in the indoor season. Kishane traveled from Jamaica to Kazakhstan. Kazakhstan from Jamaica. You go on Google now and you check the flights and check the time difference. The acclimatization of the weather and the time, because at the time it was snowing as well in the indoor season. And he went over there and he actually ran like dog shit. I'm not gonna lie to you. He actually ran like garbage, Kishane, and he won the race, but it was really sluggish. It was very similar to this race that he just ran yesterday in Budapest. Very tense and kind of forced it and came through late and took the win. And that's a telltale sign of jet lag. That's a telltale sign of your nervous system's not fully fired up. And I kind of think that's what happened yesterday. So guys, traveling is, it takes a lot. So what I'm trying to say to you here, and I'm going to wrap this up, is that let's understand what our expectations are of Kishane. I think he's going to give us some superb times throughout his career, but I think that we have to be careful with our expectations of him, especially with the fact that I think the guy's still like 23 years old. He's a baby. He is an absolute baby in this game. Loads of experience to learn, lots to develop still. And I think that the super fast times are going to come from him. And it's really, really exciting this weekend, Celestia Poland Diamond League, August 16th. I am probably going to somehow find a way to obviously do a reaction, but this time I'm not going to put the whole race on there because I don't want to get copyright striked again, man, because that was heartbreaking. To see how many of you guys watched this video yesterday, 45k or something like I'm just a small channel that's just started. I've literally just started this week, and to see that many views, oh my god, I could have thrown a house party. But then to find out that actually, that wasn't the way to do it, was a bit heartbreaking. But we're gonna figure it out, and we're gonna do a reaction video to that one as well. Stay tuned, guys. Follow me on Instagram and TikTok as well. It's GTJoshua_ on Instagram, and GT Joshua on YouTube, and GT Joshua on TikTok. Like, subscribe, comment. Let's get the conversation going. Guys, I am a track fan. specifically the men's sprints and the women's sprints and everything to do with sprinting. I am a track fan. If you're a track fan, if you're a sprints fan, contact me. Send me a message, send me a DM. I'm gonna reply to you because I love talk. I can talk about this all day long. For real, for real. So join the family, the GT Gang family, GT Joshua. We're gonna take this to the next level. We're gonna be the biggest track and field platform in the world. So grow with me, share it with your friends, message me, banter me, whatever you gotta do. Let's make this fun, guys. It's been fun. GT Gang, I'm out.